co-hosted by Carol Vorderman and Ashley Banjo. The Pride of Britain Awards 2022 sees ordinary people with extraordinary stories recognized for their incredible work. The ITV ceremony took place earlier this week in front of a star-studded audience who all wish to honor this year's inspirational winners. Express.co.uk has a full list of who has been recognised this time around in the Pride of Britain Awards. Full list of Pride of Britain Awards 2022 winners: Outstanding Bravery, David Groves and Alex Harvey. Sailors: David Groves, 32, from Somerset, and Alex Harvey, 28, from Hull have been awarded for their bravery, after leading a 4-hour mission to save 27 men from a burning ship. HMS Argyll was returning to Plymouth following a 9-month tour of duty in the Pacific when it received a Mayday call from a 28,000-ton cargo ship that caught fire 150 miles from the French coast. Leading seaman David and able seaman Alex volunteered to enter the water in an 8-meter inflatable boat and were lowered into the waves in a bid to rescue those in need. When they arrived near the cargo ship, 4 of the merchant crew were able to jump from a small hatch into the boat. The waves snapped a tow rope and no more of the crew were able to leap between the two boats, so David nudged the lifeboat half a mile to the Argyll, where sailors and Royal Marines were waiting to haul the casualties to safety. Lifetime Achievement: Jill Allen, who lost her sight on her wedding day, has spent the last 50 years campaigning on behalf of other blind and partially sighted people. The 82-year-old had to have one of her eyes removed when she was a baby due to a bout of measles and lost her sight completely because of glaucoma, which wasn't related to her childhood illness. She received her first guide dog Topsy in 1972 and began campaigning for better access to public spaces for those with support animals. She earned an MBE in 1983 for initiating tactile paving at pedestrian crossings and an OBE for her continued charity work in 2011. Jill said, "I want to sit back and relax, but there is still so much to campaign for. The rights of blind people are continuing not to be considered, so I will keep working to fight that." BBC viewers call for Laura Kuenssberg and Fiona Bruce to be removed. Child of Courage: Elizabeth Sophie, 8, was just 6 months old when she almost died in a caught fire and sustained life-changing third-degree burns that cover 60% of her body. She spent weeks in a coma, followed by 6 months in intensive care, and has had 70 operations. Elizabeth took on a charity challenge, running a mile a day for 26 days, including 73 laps around her garden, to raise £202,000 for the medics who saved her life. Mum Sinead said, "We're always envisaging something that might be difficult for her, and she'll totally prove us wrong every single time. She's amazing, she wows us every day, and the fact she wants to help others is just so her. This award means the world to her, and us." Special recognition: 3 dads walking. Dads Andy Airy, 61, Mike Palmer, 57, and Tim Owen, 52, forged a close bond through the suicide prevention charity, Papyrus, after they all lost their daughters. They chose to do a sponsored walk between their homes in Cumbria, Greater Manchester and Norfolk for the charity and to raise awareness of suicide in young people. The 3 dads managed to raise a whopping £880,000, and their next walk, trekking 550 miles over 31 days, took their total to more than £1 million. Mike said, "3 dads walking is not a club I want to belong to, but it gives us, as fathers, an opportunity to fight back and maybe make a difference." We are all too aware that there are more young people out there falling into despair and see no way out other than to end their own precious lives. There is help out there. There is hope, and that's what 3 Dads Walking is about. It's about hope. Teenager of courage, Lucy Montgomery. Lucy Montgomery, 15, of Northern Ireland, was on holiday with her family in France, paddle-boarding in the Charente River, with Mathieu, the young son of a family friend. The 8-year-old soon got into trouble and started drifting away, being pulled by a strong current that was taking him deeper into the water. When he was drifting further away, Lucy started to swim out to him and reached the frightened boy and dragged him back to the bank, but just as he was safe, her dad was then in danger. Her father Graham, who cannot swim, was also swept away, but having asked him to float on his back, Lucy was able to pull him to the edge where he was helped to safety. Graham said, "I have no doubt that Lucy's quick and decisive actions that afternoon prevented injury and perhaps worse to a frightened child and prevented me from drowning. As a family, we couldn't be prouder to see her recognized in this way." TSV community hero, Michelle Donnelly. Mom of 4 Michelle Donnelly saw that her neighbors were going hungry and so decided to set up the Hackney Community Food Hub in April 2020. Over the past couple of years, she has been able to develop a team of 100 volunteers and fed more than 100,000 people, including those housebound or homeless. Without a base, Michelle has to store the supplies in her own home, filling her freezer and piling up boxes in her front room. She already works full-time and isn't paid for the food hub, making deliveries and drop-offs across the borough off her own back. This morning Emergency Services Award, PC James Willits and PC Leon Matu. PC James Willits and PC Leon Matu were wounded in a knife attack after fighting to protect shoppers. They were patrolling the New Square shopping centre in West Bromwich when they became suspicious of 2 men wearing large backpacks, despite the hot weather. The men refused to stop when asked and ran off, and so the officers gave chase when one of them turned around and lunged at the police with a large knife. Leon was stabbed repeatedly, sustaining serious injuries to his back, body and head, while James received a head wound that was millimeters away from being life-threatening. Despite bleeding from their wounds, both officers managed to remain calm and detain the men, protecting terrified shoppers nearby. Brothers Parminder Hunjan, 37, and Maninder Hunjan, 26, went on to receive jail sentences totaling 26 years, in May 2022. I'm a celebrity lineup confirmed as first stars arrive in Australia. Gallery Doc Martin sparks division as fans blast predictable finale ending. Reaction: Coronation Street fans work out Audrey Roberts' revenge plan. Theory: GMB Young Fundraiser of the Year. Tobias Weller, 11, has autism and cerebral palsy but refuses to let anything stop him from trying to help others by taking on a series of grueling physical challenges. The schoolboy from Sheffield has so far completed 2 marathons, an Ironman and a sponsored walk to raise more than £158,000 for numerous good causes. He covered the Ironman distance over the course of a year, covering 112 miles on his trike, swimming 2.5 miles and running 26 miles with the help of his frame. In December, Tobias became the youngest person to be celebrated in the New Year's Honours list, when he was awarded the British Empire Medal for his efforts. He said, "I like pushing myself as hard as I can and enjoying myself at the same time, so completing challenges lets me do this." Prince's Trust Young Achiever of the Year, Alex Anderson, 22, was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome after he was deemed a naughty child, changing schools 4 times. He eventually became one of the first people with the condition to join the Royal Air Force after he was initially rejected in 2017 due to his diagnosis. Alex signed up for an online employability course with the Prince's Trust that gave him the support and encouragement he needed to start applying for jobs again. Around this time, Alex also channeled his energy into a variety of volunteering projects, as well as joining the RAF cadets. He volunteered more than 1,000 hours of his time supporting veterans, the elderly and young people across Gwent. After entry rules for the RAF changed, Alex decided to reapply with the help of the Trust and was delighted to be offered a role as a logistics supplier. Special award, the Lioness. Earlier this year, the England women's team, the Lionesses, won the Euro 2022, beating Germany 2-1. The team is being celebrated for not only their success at the Euros but for giving the next generation new role models to look up to. Pride of Britain Awards 2022 airs on Thursday, October 27, at 8 p.m. on ITV.